Hey guys, welcome to the Tie Jam. This evening we are trying to do a kind of a different thing. We want to focus more at like couples massage. So we're thinking there's so many people that work at desk jobs. Why not show you a couple ways you can help each other and just kind of do a couple moves to make you feel better after a long day of work. So get your mat set up, or I hope it already is set up, but if not, hurry up and put your mat down, your blankets, your pallet. And we're going to go ahead and start with our partner face up. Pre-face. So after a long day of sitting in a chair at a computer or standing at the desk, I just want to kind of give some length to my receiver's body. Just doing a simple traction. It may not be easy for you to sit on your feet like I am. Find something that's comfortable for you. Don't ever feel like you need to do anything that will make you feel uncomfortable or cause pain. And I'm just naturally going to set our feet down. At this time, you could do some work to the feet, but we're not doing that. But feel free when you're on your own time to do so. So I'm going to come over to Andrea's body, the side of her body. That sounded. I'm going to come to your body. I'm just going to do a simple traction, little slide. And the way I'm holding her arm, I'm holding like this, right? So I could just pull and traction. I'm going to come in and open her arm. At this point, you always want to stay closer to your receiver so that you're not putting any strain on your low back. And you can just, see how I have my toes? I'm just kind of using those to prop my body up. If your receiver likes lighter pressure, you may need to be a little less on top. Think about gravity as you're working and how you can use that to your advantage to make the work easier on you. As I'm pressing on her arm, I'm just warming the muscles up and just opening them. We're reversing what you've been doing all day while sitting at the computer. If you want to show pecs, I can show you the anatomy really quick just so we can refer. So with my left hand, if you're working also on your receiver's left side, I'm using my left hand to compress her pec. And do be aware to not press too hard. Look at your receiver, sense what they feel is comfortable for them. But they should feel this opening. At the same time, my opposite hand, my right hand, is just doing some compressions lightly in her forearm. If your receiver experiences tightened forearm and has pain or possibly carpal tunnel type sensations, just be aware of the amount of pressure that you are giving your receiver, as they may not be able to receive as much pressure as someone that's not already having a lot of tightness and tension here. Also be aware we have the nerves that come through, and so it may get a little sensitive near the elbow. So just be aware to not apply too much pressure as we're just kind of rhythmically leaning in and doing some compressions. And I have to add this one in. We didn't talk about doing this one, but I have to add in just a quick little hand stretch because I find that this is so important. So you can see I have her hand. I'm just, don't push any further or harder than she can receive. And I'm just letting her hand open. Andrea, is that pressure good for you?
Yes.
All day we're holding things, gripping. So it's nice to reverse that and just give a little opening. So you can keep on your computer. So since we're right here, I have Andrea's hand. I also have her glutes right here, which she's been sitting in the chair all day. Or maybe she's been standing at her stand-up desk and her glutes and quads are getting tight. But look, I have her hand right here. I can do a little compression with my foot and pull with my hand on her arm.
Yeah.
Come back, do a little compression. And so you can use bony landmarks to kind of figure out where you're supposed to be. I can feel the top of her hip right here. So I'm gonna be right below that. And as we're rocking Andrea, your receiver, this rocking will relieve tension in her rectors, the muscles that go along the spine up to her neck. You can see by the movement, her neck is moving, so we're working on those muscles too, as I'm working on her glutes.
It feels amazing.
So if you'll go ahead and switch to the quad anatomy, so I can show that real quick before we go into some quad work. These muscles here make up our quadriceps. When you sit at the computer desk all day, you know, you may be shortening your muscles as you're sitting at the desk. Say if you do any hobbies of any sort, right, sport-wise, definitely gonna have some tight quads. Many reasons why we'll have tight quads. So with my left foot, I'm gonna loop it underneath Andrea's leg. With my right foot, I'm gonna go right to the top. You'll feel where it feels like it fits right in. And you just kind of give a good compression. Andrea, how's that pressure?
Amazing.
So do be aware, your receiver's hand is really close to you. So you might just move it out a little bit. If they're not your partner, if they're just your friend, right? You may want to be more concerned about how your receiver is feeling. You don't want them to feel like they're in any areas that are uncomfortable. So do be aware that the side of your foot is sharp. You can see here I'm kind of using the side. Andrea likes some deep pressure. She's a busy lady.
Yes.
But if your receiver doesn't like as much pressure, keep it a little more general. So I'm going to move that. So instead of having it to the side, you might have it a little more broad here. Then also be aware, your left foot, it might be bony across the top. If your receiver is feeling like it's a little too much here, all you have to do is turn it sideways, just to give it a little bit of a more broad structure for your leg to rest on, right? So I like to do this compression hold for a little bit, slowly let out. So as the way I have her leg at an angle here, I'm able to get these quads. I'm gonna come in for a second. Compression here at the top of her quads. Would you like any more pressure?
Sure.
So you can see my knee isn't quite straightened. I'm just gonna straighten that bad boy out.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have low back pain, right? And oftentimes that pain could be coming from over tightened quads, pulling everything forward. So by doing this, we're loosening the quads to relieve some of the tension above and below. Always come in slow, always leave slow. These compressions can be very deep, so we don't want to be abrupt entering or leaving to create a different reaction within the muscle. We don't want it to spasm or lock up to protect. And you can keep going down the quad. I'm actually now entering a little bit more IT band, so I'm going to bring her leg up a little more because I was straightening her leg out a little bit. How's that compression, Andrea? Good?
Great.
Always check in with your receiver, make sure that they don't want more pressure or less. Good communication is the best way to do this work. So I'm going to come out slow. A little more glute rocking, softening. And we're going to go to the other side. All right, once again, we're going to come in, just do some rhythmic compressions. I kind of think of making snakes in Play-Doh when I do this. We're just opening up, warming up these muscles. They've been overused all day, typing on a computer. If you're also a parent of young children, these muscles can get overused by holding kids and working with the other arm, so it's great to just kind of open them up and give them a little attention. Don't forget about the pecs. Will come up right here at the front of the shoulder, not on the bone, right? And just do a nice broad compression. For most people that work at computer desks, they have forward shoulders. So do be aware as to how much pressure you're giving with your right hand. Make sure it's something that's comfortable to where they don't feel like they need to protect. They can just receive it and feel more open. I'm moving the right hand down the arm and letting my left hand stay still as it's holding this compression in the forearm. And once again, remember that it might get sensitive right through here as there's nerves that pass through. I'm going to slowly let my left hand, you can see the blood's going to start rushing back to her hand. And I'm going to go for another compression here. Whenever you feel a different tone of muscle, if you feel like a more dense muscle, that most likely is where an area that needs some attention. But always make sure that as you're working, you let your receiver know that if they ever have anything they need to tell you as far as, move a little up, a little down, that communication should be open so that you can help them to the best of your ability. So after we've opened the arm, opened the pec a little bit, I'm going to sit next. So earlier I believe I might have been sitting on my feet like this. I want to show you a different way that you can do this work, right? So you can sit sideways like this. And we're just going to do some traction, a little slide. We're addressing muscles on both sides of her arm right now. Her flexors and her extensors are getting a little attention. Come down to the hand. You can pull. It's like milking the hand, giving that a thumb some attention because it's been busy all day. Set the elbow down, right? And here's where you come in. We meet our receiver where they are. So if Andrea's hand barely opened, then that's where we meet her. We don't push her too far. We let her open as she's ready. Is that too much or you're good? Okay.
You can go even more if you wanted to.
More, there we go.
Can't feel it, which is weird.
Oh.
Oh, it's tight.
Well, it is tight.
Very tight.
So we're here at Andrea's side. I'm going to come over. I'm going to soften her glutes. Once again, use your bony landmarks to figure out where we want to be. We want to be at the top of her leg and the side, right in those glutes there. Let me use my right leg. I'm going to hook my foot underneath her leg, and I'm going to come in for a compression. As I angle her leg up so I can reach those quads better instead of her IT band, if your receiver wanted more IT work, you would just leave the leg straight, but we're doing quads. If you've never done any time mat work before, if you've never received it, if this is your first time and you're the one giving right now, you may be confused as to why this work is moving so slow. But once you are the receiver and you get to feel this work, you will notice that it's very deep, very intense at times, and you want the giver to move slower. Let's slowly come out, move down the quad, give it another compression. Slowly coming in for a deep compression. Once again, be mindful of your foot that is underneath her leg, just above the knee. I'm about right here underneath her leg. Just be aware that you're not too sharp, you're not too stiff. It is there to support and keep her leg in place. But just make sure it's not digging into your receiver's leg if they don't like that. Some people may enjoy that and then dig away. Is that a good spot for you, Andrea? I thought so. As I moved down to this next compression, I could feel that Andrea's quad was really dense and tight, hard. So I knew it was a good spot to kind of linger for her and let the body react to what we're doing. Slowly come out and back in. Once again, I'm going to come in and do a little traction. When I'm tractioning Andrea, not only am I working her arm, if I'm pulling like this, I'm also opening her neck. I'm going to let her leg go down slowly, put it back on the mat. Come in with a nice little rocking again. So after this, I do plan to go into sideline, but before we do, since I will be moving this pillow, I'm just going to go ahead, come up to my receiver's head. You can relax. And I gripped her neck like this, and I'm just sliding my fingers up the left side of her neck. And you can see the way I'm sitting is really not great because I'm reaching. You can always sit like this. There's many ways. You do what is best for you. Switch hands. You just drag it. We're just giving her neck a little love. It's been staring at a computer all day, on the phone, all those things. So I did 2 lines, I guess you'd call 2 dragging up each side of her neck, right? Just because that felt like that was a good way to do it. There's no right or wrong when it comes to this. It's just how you feel. And now I'm going to pull just straight up with my fingers on her neck muscles. If you wouldn't mind showing the anatomy for the neck really quick. There we are. So you can see what it is that we are working. We're about to get into these trapezius muscles, the levator scapula. So at this time, now I'm going to have my receiver go to her side. You can use a pillow that is supportive enough, but not overly supportive. You'll be able to tell if the neck is cranked. I like to use these yoga blankets. I'm going to fold it twice to give her a nice supportive pillow. Does that feel good?
Yes.
Excellent. If you already use a pillow, just make sure it is forward enough to where you can be right against your receiver so they feel supported. You see here, I'm going to get right behind Andrea. So I'm using my left arm and I'm hooking it and clasping my hands. Those muscles we just showed you, the trapezius, the levator, all those neck muscles. Now we're going to directly come in and give them some attention they've been waiting all day for. I'm just leaning back, Slowly leaning back, pulling her pec open. She might feel this in her low back some. She's definitely feeling this in her neck. With my right hand, I'm in the rhomboids. I'm in the area between her shoulder blades. And I'm actually I've got them sitting here, and I'm moving my left hand and rocking her body onto my fingers. If your receiver has enough space and isn't too tight and is ready for it, you can go ahead and hook the scapula and just open. And then we rock back and we're hooking. We're opening. For some people, they're so tight that maybe you have to work and soften these muscles a little more before you can get in and do that. Totally fine. Once again, we meet our receiver where they are. Just then Andrea's muscle flexed. So what I did was I just paused and waited for her to release, and I kept moving. The body sometimes will have this like last one fight where it tries to hold on. Just be patient. You can't rush the body to open. So this time, I'm going to come up to my receiver and put one hand, my left hand's going to be at the top of her deltoid, the top of her shoulder. I'm going to use my right hand for just support. And I'm going to put my knee right here in her trapezius. You don't need to put a lot of pressure. You can see I barely just leaned in, right? So some people might want more, some people might want less. You listen, talk, and you know what, Andrew, would you like a hip? Would you like your hip supported?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, I'm sitting over here looking at her hip just dangling here, and I think my friend might want that supported. So I'm going to go ahead and take another blanket. You can use a pillow. And I'm just going to give her something to give her some support as we're working.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Sorry about that. Boom. A little more comfortable, huh?
Yes, yes.
Now we aren't going to be here for that long because this is a short give receive, but I do want you to be aware of how we need to support our receiver as we're working on them. You will appreciate it when it's your time to receive. So once again, I'm going to give length, and I'm just going to give a little compression here to her traps. If you have wrist issues as the giver, maybe you want to use a fist. Maybe you don't even need to stand like that. Maybe you just balance. You can rock the arm a little bit. So though it looks like my knee is on her neck, my knee is going directly down this direction towards her feet. I'm almost pulling the trap back, it feels like. I feel like I hook on and I'm pushing the trap back and down towards the feet. That's how you can do a little rocking to kind of open. Remember that the tip of your knee is pretty sharp. So I'm using this side of my knee. You could really hang out here and do a line up towards the edge of her shoulder. You will find there's a bony structure there. We don't want to press on that. That hurts. We want to stay in this nice, thick muscle here. All right? So before we switch sides, I just want to give one last stretch for her sweet neck. Doesn't want to be this tight. So I have my left hand hooked like we did in the beginning. My right hand here. I'm just giving some length. I am pinning the muscles and lengthening. You might be able to see this better when I flip to see where the thumb placement is. There we are. Be aware of the pressure you're applying towards the head. There's no need to get too wild with this. This is a very good stretch without having to put much effort into. It's kind of rhythmic stretching, right? Going in for a stretch, finding a new spot. All right, and we're going to go ahead and we are going to flip to the other side. Let your partner get adjusted. Give them their hip bolster. Sorry, I stabbed you.
No, you're fine.
Perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to the other side of Andrea. Once again, I'm going to nestle right up against. This way she feels like she is supported. She's not going anywhere. I am here. I'm going to loop my right arm. And if your receiver has like a stiff arm, some people aren't really great at letting go. That's okay. I'll just dangle her around a little bit till she kind of gets the point. Hey, let go. But if she doesn't, it's okay. Just let them be. Meet them where they are. Got my hands clasped. And if you ever see like her head is not supported enough, you can always, hey, do we need to change that? You want to let your head be heavy? Is that heavy?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there you go. There it is.
Oh.
Give her a break.
Oh, that's what it is. I was like, what? It is relaxed.
Once I looked at the camera, I could see a little better. You can really take your time with this opening. We're just pulling open her pecs, giving space in her neck, pulling the traps down. Leaning back, opening. I'm gonna come in with my left hand here to the area between her shoulder blades and her rhomboid area. And I'm using my right hand to rock my fingers underneath that shoulder blade. You can just come in here and just give this area a little warming, a little attention. Kind of see how everything is feeling in here. Tends to always be some good stuff hiding in here. Some things that need a little extra attention. I'm hooking and leaning back. Move my hands up a little bit, hooking and leaning back, opening. So I just put her arm onto her side like so. Come up to the top, to her head. Right hand to her shoulder. You can even give a little, if they have really tight arms, give them a little bit softening before you do a compression there, right? Using my left hand as support as I bring my knee into her trap for a compression. Oh, hey.
Yeah.
This side's a little tighter.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm readjusting my left knee so that I can sit up. I don't need to be on the ground, right? Got my other hand here. I am just balancing. That foot back there is helping me. Put my hand on my hip as my right hand is giving length to the trap. Levator.
We are.
Neck.
Oof. That's angry.
That is angry.
really fucking angry. Sorry, really angry. Forget.
Can't take you anywhere.
I know. Jeez.
Sheesh.
Jeez. I try really hard, but then one just slips out.
So I'm just rocking her arm a little bit, letting it shorten, giving it length. It basically is letting my knee slowly ease in. She's very tight on this side. Taking my knee out slowly. Once again, be aware of her bony structures. We don't want to put our knee into this bone. We want to stay into the thick, chunky trap, levator. And you could really just hang out in this compression for a minute. Once you receive it, you'll understand there's no need to move quickly. Moving slow is ideal.
That is awful. In a good way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, jeez.
There is nothing like a knee into the trapezius. I'll tell you what, I'm into it. If we were doing a real long trade, I would definitely spend more time here for Andrea, but since we don't, we are going to come for another little neck stretch before we do our switch. Once again, oh, you can see so much better here, look. So I'm going ahead and I'm finding a spot, and I'm leaning back. Letting her enjoy that before I release. Find another good spot. And give length. Release. Find another good spot. And lean back. All right. Well, hopefully that makes you feel a little better after your day at work at a computer. Let's go ahead and take a quick bathroom break if you need one. Let's get switched up on the mat. The giver, you're now the receiver. Receiver, you're now the giver. We'll see you in just a couple minutes.